Another scorching summer day in Las Vegas, Nevada. But even 100-degree heat can't keep Stephen Jackson from his afternoon training session. Trainer Stefan Kazo has worked with Jackson for much of the offseason.
What I liked about him is we train, doesn't say a word, doesn't complain, never asks, are we done yet? How many more sets? It's just he's there to work. Because a lot of guys know they're good natural athletes. They think training is important, but they might not put up the effort to the extent that he does.
Jackson's work ethic is no accident. His father is a former Marine. Early on, Steve Jackson made one thing clear to his son. Character mattered more than anything.
Everyone wants to know this question: how did I come up with the number 39, and what made me decide to pick that number? I wore 34, all throughout my younger days of playing football, and it was kind of like a tribute of wanting to be like Walter Payton and Bo Jackson, those guys. And once I reached the NFL ranks, I was like, I think it'd be pretty neat to start my own kind of legacy.
Jackson wanted his father's opinion on his number. The answer would astonish him.
So I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, if I don't wear 34, there's a possibility of another jersey number you think would be pretty cool for me to wear. And I explained to him, why I wanted to change my number. And he was like, well, son, I think the number 39. Now this, I hadn't even told him that I was thinking that number. And I said, Dad, what made you think, why 39? He was like, 39 books in the Old Testament in the Bible. And, my family's really religious and they're very spiritual.
Jackson and his father have a strong relationship. Football has always been a special part of it.
Nobody was wearing 39 at the time. It hadn't, I think Larry Zonka was the last person famous person that I can remember that wore 39. And he had long since been, gone. If you think about all the guys that wear 39 now as running back, they all came in the league pretty much after Steve.
He still to this day is the guy that if he say I did something wrong, it hits here, it hits right in the heart. I could read 1,000 things in the paper, and to me, it's like, it really doesn't mean anything to me, because these are guys that love you one week if you have 150 yards, and then the next week you show up with 60 yards, they talk about you like you're a dog, but my dad, he doesn't change. He knows in those 60 yards that I may have gained that Sunday, I went out there with the same energy and the same effort that I did with the game that I had 150 yards.
In the beginning, football was a struggle for Stephen. He was fast, but he was small, and his teams were far from good.
His first teams were almost always losers. I mean, they hardly ever won any games, and he cried after every game, and he was so hurt. But I would tell him, I say, son, first you got to learn how to lose before you can ever appreciate winning. So as long as you do your best, when you come off the field and you've done your best, that's all anybody can ever ask of you.
I saw it as a way of keeping my dad near. Not that he was going anywhere, but it was just like our special time.
Stephen wanted to be an NFL running back. When others had different ideas, he turned to his dad.
A couple of colleges recruited him. They wanted to make him linebacker. And he told me, he said, Dad, before I go and play defense, I'll go to a D2 school. Thank God for Dennis Erickson. He saw something in him to give him a chance to play running back at Oregon State.
For all you Pac-10 fans, you know what this is. And if not, I'll let you know about it. It's my Oregon State helmet. It's my actual helmet. I didn't even realize my mouthpiece still attached to it. But
Brock pulling, good block, 45-40, left sideline 35, lowers the shoulder, still on his feet. the middle. Jackson to the 30, outside to the 35. Still on his feet. 46 yards for Jackson. He goes off right tackle. He's at the 5, and Jackson dives it again. Touchdown, Beavers. Beavers run Jackson. He spins away from a would-be tackler, stays on his feet. Jackson inside the 10 to the 5, dances in. Touchdown. Jackson bounces it outside, and he's going in again. Touchdown, Beavers. Screen pass in the right flat to Jackson. Needs a block at the 25 to the 20, and the Eldorado kid on his way. He will score. Touchdown, Beavers.
After 3 seasons at Oregon State, Stephen entered the 2004 NFL Draft. He was supposed to be a top 5 pick.
You know, so many people talk about, you know, one person falls in the draft and everyone knows it's possible, and so happened it was me.
Dallas Cowboys was my favorite team growing up, and they had an opportunity to draft him, and for whatever reason, they passed on him.
I just really thought, you know, how cool would that be? Man, my dad's favorite team, I could be the star running back there. You know, life doesn't get much better than that, and they decided, you know, to pass on me and not draft me.
And I think Michael Irvin and I felt the same way. I think if you remember when they passed on him, he took off his headset and walked off of the set, I believe.
I mean, it was like being punched in the stomach. I couldn't believe it. At that point, I scrambled, looked back at the, see what teams were still drafting, and in my opinion, the team that was left in the first round really didn't need running back. I still remember the conversation. It was Coach Martz. He called me and said, "Hey, kiddo, how you doing?" To me, it's not too many franchises that have had the success at running back like the St. Louis Rams or the Rams franchise when they were in L.A. You know, so many great backs have worn that helmet. And now that I look back at the situation and seeing where I'm at with the Rams, I'm satisfied. I'm continuing to strive to be considered one of the best to ever put on the helmet of a Ram.
3 years after 22 teams passed on him, including his father's beloved Cowboys, Jackson went to the Pro Bowl. He finished 2006 with 2,334 yards from scrimmage, the most that year and the 5th best in NFL history.
The fact that he stayed humble and he hasn't gotten bigger than the game, and he hasn't allowed the fame, the fortune to swell his head so far, per se. I thank God that he's grounded and he keeps his foot on the ground, and I pray all the time that God would keep him humble.